I think we got everybody back. There's Mr. Phillips. Perfect. All right. I have Mr. Mark, Miss Field, Miss Miller, Miss Samuel. I can't see you. I see a lovely painting on your wall. There you go. All right. Thank you. I have Tracy Samuel, Laura Huerta, Don Chapaka, John Weissmuller, Natalie Thornton, Shelley Shaw, Octavius Phillips, and our court reporter today is Crystal Childress. Ms. Shaw, have you had adequate time to visit with your client?
Yes, Judge, I have, and we are in agreement with the department taking TMC.
Mr. Weissmuller, have you had sufficient time to visit with Mr. Phillips?
Yes, I have, Your Honor, and we're in agreement with the department taking TMC.
Okay. Given that information, Mr. Weissmuller, you want to go first?
Yes, I don't mind. I call Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I informed you of the situation today, that today was an adversary hearing, and whether you agreed to allow the state to take temporary possession of your child. Okay, so everybody can work services and go forward from there. You agree with that, did you not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that wasn't clear.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, the Miss Fields, the CPS worker, she's already come saw you, and she gave you a packet to fill out, so forth. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you also gave her information as to family members for possible placement. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who's the possible?
It's Tracy. It's Tracy's her sister. I agreed to her for a sister.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let me ask this other question. Do you have any American Indian heritage?
No, I do not. Not that I know of.
Okay. You don't have any Alaskan heritage, Alaskan Indian heritage or any of that stuff, do you?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Judge, I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Shaw, do you want to question Ms. Samuel?
Yes, thank you, Judge. Ms. Samuel, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You and I had the opportunity to talk about this case earlier when we were in that Zoom breakout room together. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have informed me that your child is still in the NICU at the hospital, correct?
Yes, ma'am, she is.
And that after your child is released, you are also wanting your child to go to your sister. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you've already given her information to the department, and the department has also started the process for background checks on her. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And today, as we sit here, you're in agreement for the department to continue as the temporary managing conservator of your daughter and her to stay in the NICU for the time being and for them to look into your sister. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you and I have also discussed services that you'll need to work throughout this case and that you'll need to comply with those, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're willing to work services in an effort to get your child back. Is that right?
Whatever it takes.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Samuel, what's the name of your sister?
Delonda.
All right. Mr. Mark, how would you like me to handle the removal facts?
Judge, I would ask the court to take judicial notice of the removal affidavit for this proceeding only, and I'd like to cross-examine Ms. Samuel, if I may, Judge, briefly.
Okay. Any objection to a judicial notice of the affidavit that accompanied the petition, for the purposes of today only, Mr. Weissmuller?
No objection, Judge. Thank you.
No objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Chapaka?
No objections, Judge.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Mark.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Ms. Samuel.
Good morning.
Ms. Samuel, do you have any Native American heritage in your genetic background that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Okay, ma'am. And also, since we're on YouTube, I'm not going to use your child's name, but the initials are TP. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you, can you tell the court if Mr. Octavius Phillips is the biological father of TP?
Yes, he is.
Okay, is he on the birth certificate?
Well, no, he's not, because he's locked up. He wasn't able to be there with me, so.
Okay, he was incarcerated when the child was born?
Yes, sir.
But you're saying under oath he is the biological father and of this child, and you're sure of that?
Yes, sir, I'm positive.
Okay, I will pass the witness, Judge.
Anybody else have any questions of Ms. Samuel?
No, I do not.
Anybody have any questions of Mr. Phillips?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody have any questions of Ms. Field?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Huerta, you want to tell me what the CASA's position is?
We also do believe that TMC at this stage is in the child's best interest, Judge.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Mhm.
I'd like to request if it's okay with the court that Mr. Octavius Phillips submit to a DNA test.
I'm gonna get there. We'll get there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else from anybody?
Ma'am.
Okay. I am gonna find by the agreement of the parties that the department is appointed temporary managing conservator of the child made the subject of the suit. The current placement is approved as safe and appropriate. The department is ordered to do a home study with a fingerprint background check. The lady does not have to get licensed, but she needs a licensing background check, that home study with a fingerprint background check. I am based on the age of the child. Miss Samuel, are you and Mr. Phillips married?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Phillips, you don't believe y'all are married. Is that correct?
Well, coming along.
I'm not married.
Okay, then I'm ordering DNA testing for the child and Mr. Phillips. What's going to happen next, Mr. Phillips and Ms. Samuel, is the department will have what's called a family group conference. They may have y'all's together, they may have it separately, but that's where you and your lawyers visit with the department, as well as the CASA representative and your child's lawyer, Ms. Shapaka, about what services everybody believes are narrowly tailored to you to remove the risk of harm that caused this child to come into care. There's a very real possibility, Ms. Samuel, based on that removal affidavit that y'all had me take judicial notice of, that the very first thing that I'm going to be interested in is you having a substance abuse evaluation. And if it is recommended that you go to inpatient, you go to inpatient. You understand that, Ms. Samuel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I'm going to give you a heads up.
Whatever it takes.
Okay, a lot of parents tell me that. And I want to hold you to it, okay? But you really need to go to inpatient and you really need to stay there and make sure that you beat this demon, okay? I would like nothing better than to return this child home to safe, sober parents that have a safe, stable home for this child, okay? And you'll have that opportunity, but you're the one that has to do the heavy lifting, okay? And I understand this is not the first time that you've had this situation presented to you, but I want you to put everything that you have into getting sober, and we'll deal with everything else after I know you've been sober for 90 days, okay? Ms. Fields, how fast can you guys get Ms. Samuel set up for the evaluation?
I can work on it today and hopefully have it in by tomorrow.
Okay. Ms. Shaw, are you good with me ordering that now so there's nobody drops the ball and getting that set up ASAP?
Yes, Judge, I'm very happy to hear that. I would also ask, and I'm sure we'll bring it up later in a status hearing, but I would ask that in this case, we would have a step-by-step service plan as opposed to multiple parts running at the same time.
That for those of you guys who may not know what Ms. Shaw is referring to, that's what I affectionately call a phased service plan. And I will tell you guys right now, the first 90 days of this case, I want focus completely and utterly on Ms. Samuels on her sobriety. Okay, everything else will fall into place later. The department is welcome to file their master service plan, but you guys need to have it broken down into at least 3 phases in small bites. So Ms. Samuel knows exactly what's expected of her within what time frame. Okay, I think that's a wonderful idea, Ms. Shaw. Mr. Weissmuller, I'll let you visit with Mr. Phillips. I'll be happy to do the same thing for him, a master service plan, but broken down into phases. But I'm gonna let you and Mr. Phillips visit a little bit more about that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. I understand that each Ms. Samuel and Mr. Phillips have denied Native American heritage. In the Varner matter, I've got Michael Mark. Ms. Miller, if you're going to participate, you need to be at your chair. Suzanne Clary, Skylar Smith, and Travis Varner on the same device. Christopher Buck, Natalie Thornton, Gardenia Escobar, Don Shapaka, Giselle Hernandez, Crystal Riley, Darius Woods Steichen, and our court recorder today is Crystal Childers. Clary, there's 2 people on your screen. I need to know both of y'all's names, please. You need to unmute yourself and tell me your names. Are y'all in the same room with Ms. Smith and Mr. Varner? then y'all need to move because it's not, there's going to be reverberation. Y'all cannot be in the same room. You have to get as far away as possible from them.
Yes, Judge, you'd like me to call my client?
Is there an agreement? Or are we going to have a contested hearing?
I'm sorry. There's an agreement.
All right, Mr. Buck, same for you.
That's my understanding, Judge. Yes.
All right, I'll let you go first, Ms. Shabaka.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Skylar, you're going to testify, okay? Can you please state your full name?
Skylar Ashton Smith.
And you are the mother of the child that we are talking about, and we'll refer to him today as by his initials KV.
Yes,
You're his
ma'am.
mom? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And who's the father?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I think my finger was on the microphone.
That's okay. And who's the baby's father?
Travis Varner.
And he's there with you today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he on the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you two currently married?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Varner, you can't answer until somebody's asking you questions, okay? This is just Miss Smith right now. Go ahead, Miss Shabaka.
Okay. And your baby was born on not even a month ago, September 1st, correct?
Correct.
And you understand the circumstances of why CPS got involved?
Yes, ma'am.
And you and I talked in the breakout room about our various options today.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you think it's in your child's best interest for, at this point, CPS to be named temporary managing conservator, and you do a plan of service, which will have all the tasks to help you get your child back with you and be a great mom?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you think that's in the best interest of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're wanting to be cooperative with CPS and do everything on your plan of service in order to regain custody of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
If your child can't be placed with you right now, where would you like him to be placed?
With my mom.
And where does your mom live?
807 Hank Street.
Here in Lufkin, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you fill out a caregiver resource packet with her information in it?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any Native American history, as far as you know?
My dad's mother, so that's my great grandmother. My grandma Shirley, she's full-blooded Choctaw Indian.
Okay. And what's her full name? Shirley what?
I have to ask my grandma Debbie. But her name is Deborah Edge. That's her mother.
Okay, so you're saying your grandmother Deborah and then her mom Shirley are Choctaw Indian?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Mr. Buck, you want to go out of order?
Sure.
Go ahead.
And this is for Mr. Varner.
Yes.
Mr. Varner, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
And were you listening to all the questions Ms. Shapaka asked Ms. Smith?
Yes, sir.
Was that yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I asked you all those same questions, would your answers be the same?
Ask them individually, Mr. Buck, because that
I will.
includes
I will.
Native American
Okay.
heritage. I think
Sure. Do you have do you understand that why CPS got involved in this case?
Well, really, I don't, because I've never been a client with CPS. I don't feel like I need to be either.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we're going to have a contested hearing then.
Yeah, I guess so, Judge. Yes.
All right, Mr. Mark, it's your turn. Call your first witness.
Thank you, Judge. State would call Darius Woods Steichen. Good morning, Mr. Woodsteichen.
Morning.
Can you speak up, state your name for the record, tell the court what you do?
My name is Darius Woodsteichen. I am an investigator for Child Protective Services.
Okay, Mr. Steichen, we're here on a child, initials KV. And I believe that child's date of birth is September 1st, 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can you tell Judge James how you came to be involved in this case?
So we received, I guess, a report or intake stating that Ms. Smith had gave birth to a newborn, and she's currently in a conservatorship case on another child. And she hasn't worked her services on that child, but she had just given birth on a new child, and there's still concerns for drug use in the home. Now, mom and baby were negative.
Okay. Let me stop you there. You're talking about Skylar Smith?
Correct.
Okay. Now, what drugs was she alleged to have been using?
Hang on. Ms. Smith and Mr. Varner, if y'all are going to participate in this hearing, y'all need to stay put and sit in one place. And I need to be able to see both of y'all at the same time. Okay?
All right, well, I'm moving so I can plug my phone in.
Well, get settled and don't move again. Wait, Mr. Mark.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge. Mr. Woodsteichen, I was asking you initially if Skylar Smith was the mother of KV.
Correct.
And you indicated that she already has a child in custody of the department?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And then I think we ascertained that KV, the child, the subject of this suit, was born September 1st, 2023.
Correct, yes.
Okay, and I believe you were testifying to Judge James that you were alleging drug usage by Ms. Smith?
There's a delay. Try again, Mr. Mark.
Okay, Mr. Woodsteichen, you were alleging
I'm sorry.
that
Yeah.
Skylar Smith had been involved in drug usage during her pregnancy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, what substances or substance was she using?
It was alleged that she was using methamphetamines.
Okay.
And that's what the history, she had a history of testing positive for methamphetamine.
Okay. Was the child KV administered any tests after birth?
Yes, he was tested his urine and his meconium. His urine had came back negative, but his meconium tested positive for amphetamines.
Okay. So is that the reason that the department elected to initiate removal proceedings?
Yes, that is one of the reasons.
Okay, you say one of the reasons. What were the other reasons, if any?
It also, obviously, with working with that other case, there was concerns because she has not been working her services through the department, and also she had been asked to go drug test multiple times and had not provided a negative drug test to the department since October of 2022.
Okay, and just for the record, it is almost October of 2023, so that would be approximately a year?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Woodsteichen, you were present in the courtroom when Mr. Varner indicated that he had no idea why CPS was involved, even though initially we thought we had an agreement. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Can you tell Judge James why you feel it would be in KV's best interest if Mr. Varner was also required to work services, and why he would not be a fit caregiver to KV?
Yes, I can tell her. So when I met with Mr. Varner, he did claim that he did not have a criminal history from when he was a juvenile, and since he was a juvenile, sorry. And there was concerning criminal history of, I guess, possession within the last year. And on top of that, I do know that this is his first child. Like he said, he had not been involved with CPS before, but this is his first child. He also claimed that he had a severe car accident. I know he has a disability. I'm not sure how that would come into caring for a child, but he does have a disability that he didn't really disclose how severe it was. He just said he had a severe car accident. And like I said, that criminal history of possession charges, that he was not claiming they were recent. And then he was also asked to go drug test and provide negative drug tests, and he did not go as well.
Okay, Mr. Woodstock, just so we're clear, the first child that is currently in custody of the department, that is not Mr. Varner's child, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And can you tell the court what exactly Mr. Varner has on his criminal history? You said possession, but what specifically are you talking about?
I would rather know what his concerns are as opposed to this gentleman's reported criminal history, Mr. Mark.
Okay. Okay. Well, what did he possess, and how does that fit into your concerns for the welfare of KV?
When we run criminal history, it doesn't exactly state what he was. It was like what he was found with or what he was arrested with. It just states that he was charged with possession and held for that, and that was in May of 2023, and then also I believe in 2021. I'm not sure of the month, but it was fairly recent when he claimed it was only when he was a juvenile.
Okay, so are you saying that Mr. Varner was concealing that information to you? Was not truthful?
I'm not sure if he was just not being truthful or didn't remember, but I had to search for that information myself.
And you also indicated you requested that Mr. Varner take a drug test. Did he refuse?
He didn't refuse. He said that he would go. When we asked both of him and Ms. Smith, they said they would go, and they never did provide the department a negative test.
So does that play into your concerns for the welfare of KV if KV were to be in the custody of Mr. Varner?
Yes, that does weigh into our concerns.
Okay, are there any other concerns that you have with either Ms. Smith or Mr. Varner?
I know that their safety support is Ms. Havard, which is Skylar's mother, and baby had been with Ms. Havard for a good amount of time during the investigation, but she also had a previous case where she had tested positive for methamphetamines as well. They did not disclose any other safety support.
I don't know who these she's are, Mr. Mark.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll clear that up. Mr. Woodstock, who is this Miss Havard?
Kristen Havard is Skylar Smith's mother, so grandmother to KV.
Okay, and you said Miss Havard also had some drug usage?
Yes, she has history with the department where she had tested positive for methamphetamines.
So would she be disqualified from caring for KV?
Yes.
Okay. What step or steps did you take to avoid this removal of KV from Ms. Smith and Mr. Varner?
We were going to plan on putting in a safety plan for Mr. Varner until we had ran his criminal history. We also, like I said, had asked about any safety support, and they disclosed that Kristen Havard was their safety support. And like I said, with her history, that would deem her non-protective. So we weren't unable to put in a safety plan at this time. And on top of that, we gave them ample time to provide drug tests to the department, which they have not done.
And do you think it would be in the best interest of KV if Judge James were to temporarily place KV in the custody of the Department of Family and Protective Services?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Varner has a violent offense on his record, an assault? Would that cause you any concerns?
I don't know the, background of that assault, whether that was another home member or what, but that is still kind of concerning. But most of my concerns were regarding the drug offenses.
Okay, a possession or delivery in 2021 and a possession of a controlled substance in 2023?
Yes.
Okay. I will pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Buck?
Sir, do you know how long Ms. Smith and Ms. Varner have been living together?
I do not.
At this time, I would pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Shapaka?
I have no questions, Judge.
Ms. Riley?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Woods, do you understand that Mr. Varner and Ms. Smith live together?
Yes, I do know that.
Anything further, Mr. Mark?
No, ma'am, we'd rest.
Mr. Buck?
Judge, I would call my client, Mr. Varner. Mr. Varner, are you asking for your child to be returned to your home with Ms. Smith today?
Well, as soon as y'all can get it, make it happen, yeah.
Okay. Are you in agreement at all with the department having temporary custody and you working a service plan to have the child returned?
Mr. Varner, you need to nobody else should be helping you testify.
There's not.
Okay. Can you repeat the question, Judge?
Please.
Mr. Varner, do you disagree with CPS taking temporary custody and you working services to get your child returned to you?
No, sir, I do not.
So you do not disagree with that, is that correct? And I apologize, I withdraw that, Judge. I'll ask it more straightforward. So you're in agreement with that, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Mark?
Judge, based on Mr. Varner's answer to that last question, I have no cross-examination.
Ms. Shapaka?
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Riley?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Buck?
I have no additional witnesses, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Shapaka, anything?
No, Judge.
Ms. Riley, do you have anything?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hernandez, as the guardian ad litem for this child, what's your recommendation?
I'm recommending that the department take TMC. I also have visited with the child and he is doing great. The caregivers have said that he's a happy baby, he's eating well, sleeping well, so there's no concerns.
In foster care or with a relative or fictive kin?
In foster care.
And I understand, Mr. Buck, that your client does not agree with the department taking temporary managing conservatorship.
Judge, I believe his statement is that he's in agreement with TMC, the department. He just wants his child placed back with him as soon as possible. That's
Okay.
what he wanted to say to the court.
All right. Can you flesh that out for him? Because I'm not sure that's what I heard.
Okay, I will. And it's been a challenging, a difficult conversation, Judge, but
Right.
Mr. Varner, can you hear me?
Maybe break it down into very, very specific questions.
Okay. Okay. Do you understand that CPS has filed paperwork asking for to take temporary custody of your child because they do not believe that you and Mr. Smith are safe at this time. I'm not asking if you agree. I'm just asking if you understand that that's what they have done.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you testified just a few minutes ago that you're in agreement with them taking temporary custody, but you want the child returned to you as soon as possible. Is that right?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Varner, I got to remind you that you're the only one that can answer these questions, okay? No one else.
I'm
No
the
one.
only one answering.
Okay. No one else should be talking to you right now, okay?
I got
Right.
you.
All right. Now you understand that means CPS is going to take custody and they get determined at least temporarily where this child resides, as well as its any medical needs that it might require. They're going to be responsible for those types of things. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you understand that that's going to start a case in which you're going to be asked to do a list of services, things like counseling, parenting classes, etc. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you prepared to work those services in an attempt to get the child back and return to you and Miss Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you and Miss Smith living together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that what you plan to do moving forward?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that in order to have a child returned to the home where you're in, everybody in the home is going to have to be drug-free and a safe person for a child to be around?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I pass the witness, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Anything else from anybody? Okay. Mr. Varner, I'm going to tell you what I think I understood, and you tell me if I'm right about understanding what you're asking for today, okay?
All right.
All right. You're not happy about it, but you agree that the department should take temporary custody of this child for now.
Yes.
But you want to get this little baby back in your home with Miss Smith as soon as possible.
Sooner the better. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in order to hopefully have that happen sooner rather than later, you understand that the department's going to ask you to work services.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Is that what where you were trying to get, Mr. Buck?
That's correct, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions since I've just jumped all in the middle of this hearing?
Yeah, Judge, I do have a couple, if I may.
Okay. Let me hear from Miss Riley first, because I think that the stuff that you may have left, I can take care of. As far as if it's the Indian child welfare stuff, I can take care of that.
That's fine, Judge.
I don't have any questions, Your Honor, and I agree with Nkasa.
Okay. Ms. Smith, do you know of any Native American or Native Alaskan heritage in your family that could potentially allow your child to be a member of a Native tribe other than your great grandma, who we're probably going to need to get information from your grandma about? Ms. Shapaka, do I understand it's the Choctaw Nation that is potentially?
I have no idea. I would have to ask my mom.
Okay. And your mom's name is what?
Yes, ma'am.
Your mom's name is what?
My mom's
What is your
is
mother?
Kristen Havard.
Okay, very good. All right, Ms. Shapaka, can you make sure that Indian Child Welfare
Kristen
Act
Havard.
gets filed by October 15th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Smith, is it what Choctaw Nation, what state do you believe they might be from?
My grandma Charlie, she lives in hold on. No, she lives in Kansas City.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Varner, do you know of any Native American or Native Alaskan heritage in your family?
No, ma'am. I believe there might be some, but I don't, like my mom's grandmother, but I don't know anything about it. Can't, no ma'am.
Okay, you don't know the name of the tribe or anything like that?
No,
Okay. Mr. Buck, Mr. Chapak, if you guys will get the Indian Child Welfare questionnaires completed by October 15th, I also need affidavits of indigence if Ms. Smith and Mr. Varner want me to consider continuing each of you as their attorneys, okay? Can y'all get that done by, both of that done by October 15th?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. All right, then I'm going to find, based on the agreement of the parties, that temporary managing conservatorship is in to the appointment of the Department of Family and Protective Services as the temporary managing conservator of this child by the agreement of Mr. Varner and Ms. Smith is in the best interest of the child, and that all the requisite statutory matters have been identified and proven, that that a kick-out order was not an option because Mr. Varner and Ms. Smith live together, and that a parent-child safety plan was not appropriate under the circumstances due to the limitations of finding a suitable supervisor. What's going to happen next, Mr. Varner and Ms. Smith, is the department's going to get with you guys and your lawyers, and y'all are going to talk about what services are appropriate for each of you individually to hopefully get this little boy back in your home as soon as possible. I'm going to give you a hint. I'm going to expect drug testing. Okay. If you don't do the drug testing, I'm going to have to jump.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't take it because you knew it would be positive. All right. So it's really important that you go drug test. If you know that you're going to be positive for something, it's better to own it and let us try to get services in place to help you with that. Okay. It's much better to tell the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Circumstances than try to hide it, because it always ends up coming out. And I would rather you be honest with everybody so we can hopefully get you the help that you need, than me assume that you're trying to hide stuff, which is never good for anybody. Okay. You understand why?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Ms. Smith, you really need to step up. Okay. You really, really need to step up. And if you need help with something, if you need help with anything, you need to let Ms. Shapaka know so she can get with the department and get what you need. Because Ms. Shapaka knows if the department won't do it voluntarily, she can ask me to order them to do it for you. Okay. But you've got to do the heavy lifting.
Yes, ma'am.
Got to do the work, and Mr. Varner's got to do the work. Okay. You understand that, Mr.
Yes,
Varner? Okay. If y'all need help with transportation to get to your services, you need to let your caseworker know so they can make those arrangements for you. Okay. Everybody wants y'all to succeed. And succeeding is hopefully getting this child, like Mr. Varner said, sooner rather than later back into your home. But I can't send a baby home if people are doing drugs in that home. Okay. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. The next thing that's going to happen is the department's going to have a group conference with you guys and your lawyers, and y'all are going to come up with a service plan. If y'all don't agree, that's cool. You can come and ask me to do different stuff at the status hearing. Status hearing is going to be on November 7th, 2023. That's going to be at 10 o'clock. Okay. The next hearing after that won't be until March 5th, 2024. That'll be the halfway mark. If that hearing will be at 9:30, that's the initial permanency. All right. I really want to hear you guys are knocking it out of the park with your services by then. Okay. Second permanency review and pretrial is going to be on June the 18th, 2024 at 1 o'clock. And I'm setting the trial in this case for July 23rd, 2024 at 1:30. Our statutory dismissal date is September 16th, 2024. We only have a year to get this case resolved. And right now, it seems like forever and a day from today. But at the same time, it goes by really, really fast. So you want to get a head start on your services as soon as humanly possible. Okay. Ms. Miller, Mr. Woodstock, can you get mom and dad drug tested today? Can you get at least an observed UA done for each of these nice folks today?
Yeah, I can get the paperwork in.
Okay. Mr. Varner, Ms. Smith, do you guys need a ride to the lab, or can y'all get yourselves there?
If we can't get up there, we will call y'all. Right? But he has a ride. We can get up there. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if y'all have a ride, that's great. If you find out as soon as we hang up you don't, you need to call Mr. Woodsteichen so he can make those arrangements for you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am
Yes,
also
ma'am.
going to order, based on the age of the child, I'm also going to order DNA testing. So get that done as well. Mr. Woodsteichen, if y'all can get that done while he's at the lab, that would probably be ideal. So he doesn't have to go back. Okay. All right. Anything else from anybody? Okay. I really want you guys to do well. I would really like the opportunity to get this child back into your home. But if I'm not absolutely certain that drugs are no longer an issue, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm guessing you want your baby home. Am I right about
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
Okay. So you tell me, Ms. Smith, what you
Yes,
really
ma'am.
need to do to make sure you can get that child back in your home.
What I really need to do
Yes, ma'am.
is be sober and be the best mom I can be for him.
Okay. That's going to include you might get a lot out of some counseling. I would suspect that that's going to be on the list too. Mr. Varner, do you know what do you understand what's expected of you? Okay. All right. These folks with the department, you can kind of look at it one of two ways. You can jump in with both feet and work as hard as you can with these caseworkers, or you can butt heads with them. And I'm guessing it's going to be easier on you guys and better for your child if you take advantage of all the opportunities these services will provide for you. Okay. And I'm really looking forward to hearing that you guys are doing really, really well. Okay. All you have to do is prove me right. Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Mark?
No, ma'am, I think you covered it.
All right. Mr.
Yes,
Buck,
ma'am.
is there anything else, Mr. Buck, you would like me to order today for your client other than the DNA testing and observe UAs today?
I think that covers it as well, Judge, for me.
Ms. Shapaka?
I think that covers it, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Given that meth is a concern, no in-person visits until there are 2 clean observed UAs. I want that second UA offered to Ms. Smith and Mr. Varner in not more than 14 days from today. Okay, so we're going today, and sometime between now and 14 days from now, there's going to be another test. Okie doke.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If they're both clean for both of y'all, or either one of y'all, whoever's got 2 clean observed UAs, those in-persons can start. Okay. The supervised in-persons can start. Okie doke. That's why I want them done so quickly. All righty.
And I assume they're getting
Yes,
virtual
ma'am.
visits already?
They should be getting virtual visits. Yes. I know that's really, really hard with an infant, but at least he can hear their voices. Okay. Okie doke. Thank you guys. I will see y'all in November unless you need me ahead of time. Okay. Thank you. Same submission
Yes,
schedule,
ma'am.
Mr. Mark. I'd like to get this by next Friday, not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. But get me the DNA testing as quick as you can. Thank